My name is Sam Maher. I am a musician from Australia, better known for my work with the handpan. Usually start my day by waking up a bit groggy. I don't function without a coffee, so coffee is usually high on the priority list. I usually do a bit of yoga or stretching.
How do you usually end your day?
Depends what I'm doing that day, but I really enjoy cooking. Conversation is usually a time when I reflect with whoever I'm with.
Things you do for inspiration and inner peace?
Playing music, particularly playing drums and handpan when I'm alone, for me is very therapeutic. Handpan for me by myself can be very personal, and it's a good way to sort out things going on in my head. Playing drums and making a lot of really harsh noises with other people is one of my all-time things that would make me tick.
What's a book that's changed your life and why?
I really like a lot of different writers. There's a Japanese writer, Haruki Murakami, who is incredible. He's very influenced by Franz Kafka, and I like all of Kafka's work. I don't think any book has changed my life. It's always been a way for me to open up new doors or to gain new knowledge. So I guess every book, if I've read it from start to finish in some way, has changed a part of me.
Do you work out? How often and why?
I do enjoy doing yoga. I really enjoy swimming. I used to be a swimmer when I was younger. I don't really think about it as working out. I think about it as sort of prolonging my life, and I enjoy the quiet time of doing something physical, and I feel better for it after I've done it. Sometimes it's hard, but after I've done it, it feels good, so I do it.
Isn't this the secret of success in anything? Like once, even at work, once you don't feel like you're working, then you're doing the right thing?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's kind of the goal with anything that I do, that I don't ever want it to feel like a drain. It's kind of the perfect situation if you can make a living and also include the things that you're passionate about in that. And I guess for me, those two things are traveling and music, and I facilitate my life around these two things.
What do you do to stay focused?
I guess loosely scheduling myself if there's a task to be done. I mean, when it comes to creativity, I think it's nice to have a bit of chaos and to be a little bit unfocused or unclear. Sometimes some of the best stuff comes out of me when I'm frantic. Staying focused, I seem to be most clear when I'm in a stage where I am thinking about doing some sort of physical, whether it be exercise or playing drums or basically just working up a sweat seems to have long-term effects of focus. I think that I have an overly active brain at times, and I have experienced some pretty severe anxiety because of certain things in my life. So I've always managed to sort of come out of those headspaces which can be viewed as frantic, and tried to use it to turn into something great. I like to get aggressive with a drum kit, but I like to get peaceful with a handpan. So these are things that just sort of even my headspace.
So what's your way of overcoming anxiety?
Well, anxiety is a very common problem these days, and overcoming it isn't easy. Overcoming anxiety is literally just allowing yourself to be a little bit scared of things and not judging yourself or over-analysing it too much, which is easier said than done. I don't know, confronting these things head on is definitely a therapeutic thing to do, I guess. If you're scared of heights, jump out of an aeroplane. It works.
When you were younger, what was your dream when you grew up?
I remember my dad, I think it was, asked me this question when I was a child. Pretty sure I said I wanted to run away and join the circus. I think at one stage I wanted to be a clown in a circus, and I also wanted to be a cartoonist. So I haven't really, I didn't grasp those life goals, but I kind of have run away and done something creative, so that's close enough, I guess.
What made you choose not to go to university?
Good question. Look, I still to this day battle with this feeling of like, maybe I should become an academic. Maybe I should go down that route. I wasn't ready, to be honest. There's all this pressure, particularly, I don't know if this is a cultural thing, but in Australia, you're in your last year of school and it's Like, you must not fail your exams because you won't go to university and you won't have a future. I was more interested in actually gathering some stories, experiencing things that I hadn't experienced yet. So the idea of going to university without exploring the world first seemed like criminal, you know. I think there's a thing where I'm from where they're making it very easy and very expensive to go to university. So it is a big business format. And I never really wanted to become a doctor or, you know, a psychologist or something that you do need to go to university to have that credit. I didn't know what I wanted. So I listened to that and decided, well, I'm going to take some time out. And it seemed to have worked. I keep falling into great situations. So I just don't think it's for me. Although nowadays I think it would be nice to add a little tag before my name and teach people or write an interesting paper. I really like that side of academia, but it's those first 3 years as you go through a bachelor that I'm not that inclined to taking. It's not really a journey I want to go on.
Some of the most successful people in the world did not end up in what they studied.
Yeah.
Which kind of tells you that maybe life is the best university.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's definitely something to be said about experience. Outside of my musical world, I found my way into the medical industry. And I'm not really there that much anymore, but I'm still a part of it. And, you know, you meet people that straight out of high school do their degree, and then they spend all this time doing their degree, and then they enter the workforce because that's the way we're supposed to go. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just a choice. But for me, without experiencing different culture and different places, there is a huge hole that is left in people. I like to travel. Some people don't like to travel. I do. I think it's nice to meet new people. And, you know, when I'm old and grey and sitting on my rocking chair and I have like my family around me, I don't want anyone to believe these crazy stories that are all true. I want them to think he's crazy. He didn't do any of these things. That's kind of the dream, I think. I had a pretty mobile childhood, I guess. I grew up in a very small place and I left home very young. I've always been exposed to a certain level of discomfort, I guess, and I learn a lot of great lessons through being uncomfortable, and I think that that's always something that I try to keep alive in my day-to-day.
Did you ever have a boss, or were you always a free man?
I've had a working life, you know. I've worked. I worked a lot when I was in my early 20s, so of course I've had a boss. It's only really in the last few years that I've kind of started navigating myself and realised that I can take what I do seriously and actually make a living off it. I still keep my foot in the door in the old world, the old working life that I had, because frankly, I think if I did artistic things constantly, I'd probably drive myself insane. It is nice to enter a job that you know well and that you're good at, and have a guaranteed pay slip at the end of the week, and really just dissociate yourself from this life of traveling and performing and creating, because it is exhausting. It can be super exhausting and a lot of pressure. The two people in my life that I would consider my bosses have been some of the most influential people as far as my outlook and my work ethic. So I owe a lot to my bosses. Thank you, bosses. I use the phrase of one of my bosses is that she taught me how to pull my freaking head in. I was a bit difficult to sometimes, you know, because I was working full time at one stage as well as playing in 5 bands, 2 or 3 of which were like, one was a punk band and one was a psychedelic rock band. So there was all of the as an early 20-year-old, all of the things that went along with those worlds. And then I'd be waking up early in the morning to to go to work and to work with human bodies in an operating theatre. So there were times when I was really whipped into shape as far as what is right and wrong and what is appropriate and what's not appropriate. I gained a super valuable work ethic from my first boss. Her name was Jackie. She taught me a lot, actually.
What's the best lesson you learned from your worst boss?
I mean, I think it comes down to how you manage people. I think the difference between good authority figures and bad authority figures, bad ones tend to not really listen, or to kind of self-appoint a feeling of status that is above yours. And I don't like this. I think the greatest people in the world are very good at bringing themselves down to the level of the people they're addressing. And I really try to do this all the time. I try not to discriminate between people, whether it be class or, you know, whatever, ethnicity. I think that's a clear message that I learned from a few individuals that I can think of right now, that I really didn't vibe on their authority. Trip that's changed my life. Well, when I was 24, 23, I don't know, somewhere in my late, early 20s, I went to Central and South America. That was kind of the start of my journey, if you want to call it that, with the handpan. That trip changed my life, well and truly. The person I was before that compared to the person I was after that was significant, and the experiences that I had on that trip really can't really be explained in words. Sometimes I've regretted going on that trip, but now I view it as an absolute incredible thing that not many people will get to experience. I think silence is often overlooked. I think it's pretty important to have a bit of silence, particularly if your life's a bit hectic.
The best advice you were ever given?
I mean, I can't really think of anything without sort of sounding cliche.
The worst advice you were ever given?
The worst advice? The worst advice. I mean, there was a time in my life where certain people had questioned the choices I was making as if they were bad decisions. I've always really trusted my instincts in everything that I've done, and I think that it's led me to a place that I want to be. So I guess, yeah, trying not to sound cliche, but listen to yourself and try not to let others change that path, no matter how extreme the general population might think it is. Choose your own adventure.
What is love?
What is love? I think it's this unconditional thing that can't be controlled. It's a beautiful thing. I think it makes everything happen. Depends what you're talking about. If it's love for a person, it's a sense of closeness, or, you know, an undisputed quality or affection that you have towards someone, or it can be a love for a certain thing, like flowers. If you love flowers, then you dedicate a lot of positive energy towards them. Love is just an emotion that can't really be controlled, and everyone experiences love in some form or another. Whether it be towards something positive or negative. It's a natural urge of affection towards something.
What is happiness?
Happiness is feeling satisfied to a point that you glow. Happiness is what I feel when I go swimming when I'm hot.
What is life?
Life. That's a broad question also. What we have, or the thing that everyone knows of as life, is whatever it is, it's extremely rare and precious. So I think it should be appreciated. I mean, if we're the only living beings in the cosmos, which I don't think we are, but if we are, what we have is extremely rare, and the fact that we have some sort of conscious, just with an understanding of how biology works, is completely random, and the odds of us existing is very slim. So
if there was one advice you could give to aspiring entrepreneurs, what could it be?
I don't think I really have a voice in this space because I don't consider myself an entrepreneur, but I would say exactly what I said before. Just choose your own adventure. Do your thing. Don't let other people get in your way. Trust your urges, trust your visions. Take a risk. You've only got one chance, so, well, unless you believe in reincarnation, in that case you can just chill. But I mean, live life the way you want to live life. I think that's kind of the most important thing.